Jessie, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to finally have you on.
Oh, thank you. Good to see you, Gina.
It's so good to see you. Okay, let's dive right in. I talked you up in the intro and how much I freaking adore you. I want to know, we're talking workshops today. How do I know when I'm ready for a full day workshop? Like, do I need a certain size audience? Do I need my content in a certain place and my business in a certain place? Tell me, what do I need?
Okay, so I think the question back to you is, can you do your ABCs? And what I mean by that is, it's pretty elementary, right? Are you ready to do your first event workshop? Sure, when you can do your ABCs. But what I mean by that is really the ABCs are, do you have an audience? Do you have the budget? And do you have enough content? So if I can, I want to break that down for you really quick.
Yes, please do it.
Like, what do I think is the right audience size? Well, you know what? If I had to pick a number, I would say, can you get 8 people in a room? I think that's the magic number. 8 just has like a great energy, to it. But also if you think in terms of it's a workshop, right? If you want to break them into doing some partner shares, it's an even number. If you're doing round tables, at hotels, those will fit 8 to 10 people. So it's like, if you had to pick a number, I'm like, okay, yeah, if you could get 8 people in the room to listen to your all day workshop or your weekend long workshop. So that's the audience part of it. The second part is the budget part of it. So of course you can put on an event for free. You can, but I think if you're going to go through the effort of putting on a workshop, you should put some bells and whistles in it. Are you going to be providing water, coffee, swag, audio visual? Where are you doing this? Are you going to have a team with you? Are you going to film it so you can repurpose it and use content? Those are all line items for a budget. So I've produced events that are $1,000 up to $19 million, right? It just depends on how many bells and whistles. But I think the question is do you have a budget to really put this event on, right? And I would say bare bone minimums would be about $1,000. That's bare.
That's fair. Okay, $1,000. Got it.
So that's the budget part of it. And then C is the content. Do you have enough content to fill an all day workshop? So typically workshops are a 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And you're going to give a morning break, an AM break. So, maybe around that 10:30, 10:45 mark, you're giving a 15-minute break. You need to give a minimum of an hour-long lunch break. Minimum. And then you need to give an afternoon break when you're putting a workshop on. The reason what you want to do when you're putting your schedule together is you want to think people start getting really squirmy after about 2 hours. If you don't give them a morning break or an afternoon break at about that 2-hour break, you're going to lose them. They're going to be running out to use the restroom anyway. So you need to put a morning break in, you need to put a lunch break in, and you need to put an afternoon break in. So really what that gives you is, do you have 8 hours worth of content, right? Do you have 8 hours worth to fill? And if so, then I say, yeah, go for it. If you can follow those ABCs, I have the audience, I've got a budget, I've got enough content to do a full day workshop, then go for your first workshop.
Okay, I love this. Let's break it down a little bit. So I talked about when I used to hold workshops, and I'm thinking about doing it again. And that's why one of the reasons why I reached out to you, Jessie, because you're the best. And I did I got 10 to 12 people in a room, in a beautiful conference room at the Natural History Museum here in San Diego, over a weekend. And I used to love doing them and that space and that energy. And then the content, part of that content can be workshopping, right? So if people are freaking out right now, 8 continuous hours, it doesn't have to be 8 continuous hours. You can do breakouts and workshops, and they can be doing exercise and stuff, right?
Right.
Okay,
Absolutely.
cool. Okay, let's talk about the topic. So when I did workshops, I did build your course in a weekend. So to me, that came out because people were asking me questions like, hey, can I just sit down with you and we just get this done together? But how do you come up with a topic that is going to convert, that okay, I can get 8 people in a room for this?
Yeah. Okay. So first you have to take what your topic is and put how to in front of it. If it's truly going to be a workshop, right? Are you going to teach them how to do something? So if you can't do that, you don't have a workshop, right? But there's a formula that I've been using back since the days when I was working at the Learning Annex, and I still work it today. I still use it today to come up with winning topics and titles. And so I'm going to share it with you guys right now. And that is being uber aware when you go to bookstores, grocery stores, when you're in the airport. And do you know that when you're in a bookstore and you're walking by, the books that are facing out in a section, those are the best-selling books. That means it's a hot topic, okay? When you're in line at the grocery store and you're looking at a magazine cover and you see those titles on there, that is the hot topic. So hot topics will sell. The hot topics convert into workshops. So let me use a couple like examples and scenarios. So for instance, remember when The Secret, that movie was all the rage. So just putting the word secret into titles, right? Really, really work well. I'll just use I'm going to use a couple examples here, right? Because you can't obviously take best-selling books and use it. That's like for instance, John Gray, right? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. That's his content, right?
Yes.
But the gold is in the subtitles, okay? So if this was a book when you're walking through a bookstore and this is facing out, that tells you this book is a best-selling book right now. This is a hot topic. So you want to look at the subtitles, which his is the classic guide to understanding the opposite sex. Well, again, if you go to how to, it's like how to understand the opposite sex.
Done.
That's a great book, okay?
Good one.
Dave Asprey, Bulletproof Diet, right?
Yes.
It was a best-selling book. You can't use Bulletproof Diet. That's Dave Asprey's title. No. However, if you look at his subtitle, lose up to a pound a day, reclaim your energy, focus and upgrade your life. That tells you that this topic is a winning topic, right? If this was faced out at the bookstore, you got a winner. So take something like this if this is in your niche and tweak it to your topic.
So specific too, right? You could just get that benefit right away.
Totally. You know, I'll just do one more final one.
Yes, please.
Gabby Bernstein, the universe has your back. Transform fear to faith. Okay. Again, we know for it to be a workshop, it needs to be like a how-to. So it's like how to transform fear into faith, right? How to get past fear, to reach ultimate faith. So it's like taking some of these and putting your own spin on it. That's how you know you've got a winning topic to turn it into work.
So good. So good. And then winning topic and then doing like 3 or 4 benefit bullets, right? To just set that up as part of your reg page. So good, Jessie. Okay. Now we know our topic. We know we need our ABCs. Let's talk location a little bit because you are the master of this. And we're going to link to your Instagram on the show notes. Everyone needs to follow Jessie. How do you find the ideal location? What's your criteria in mind?
Yeah, I mean, I use a lot of visualization with my events, right? Before it's like, what do I want them to feel after they've left my workshop? Okay. So it's like, and also you have to really have a rough run of show. So run of show or show flow, we call it in the industry, is like the schedule of what you're going to do throughout the day. So let's imagine you're like, okay, the morning is content, the afternoon, I'm going to put them in round tables. You need to think through the logistics. Like I need a space large enough that can have this. So a lot of my clients are like, I want to do lay down meditations. I want to do slow die techniques. Now you need a venue with carpet, right? Do you want them to be able to, are you providing lunch for them? If not, you need restaurants within walkable distance. So you have to really visualize the event and what you need in that space. And then you go out and find a venue. I'll use an example of one that's coming up. So I have a client, it's called At One Ventures. It's an annual general meeting. Okay. They're getting together to report on numbers, right?
Right.
But the company really invests in really cutting edge, earth-friendly, sustainable, science-driven companies. That's part of their portfolio. So we're having the event at the Academy of Science in San Francisco, right? Because it's like, what is your theme? And then can you find a venue? Now, I think hotels, normally people think I need to go to a hotel, and hotels are great. There's a lot of pros to hotels. You have the furniture there. They've got the rooms there. There's restaurants, banquets. Many of them are carpeted. So if you want to do those lay down, processes with people, that's already in that space in your container, but they also have a lot of cons. They're expensive, right?
Very, yes.
I think venues, you want to really think outside of the box after you've gotten clear on like what that overall vibe is, you're looking at hotels, you're looking at restaurants, you're looking at museums like you did, you're looking at theaters, movie theaters, community centers, parks, restaurants. Okay. There's so many things outside of a hotel that can be your container, your home for your workshop.
That's such good advice. I love it. I wish I had this like 5 or 6 years ago, but that is so good. You talked about lunch. Now I want to talk about the musts that, in your opinion, right? do we need to provide lunch? Like I love, everyone likes a little lunch. I love coffee in the morning, right? So what are those little perks that you insist on for a full day?
I don't think you have to provide lunch for them unless it's like you built that into your ticket price, because that's expensive. What
Mm-hmm.
are must is you must work in break time. Like you
Okay.
absolutely need to work in break time and a lunchtime. A lot of why people come to workshops is not only to learn from the experts, but they want that connection. They want that time to network with the other people in the audience. So you must work in breaks. You also, I really think it's important that you bring someone in to help you run that event, whether that's someone, it doesn't have to be a me, maybe it's a friend, a significant other, a business partner, but for you to be in your genius zone and to do what you need to do on stage, you should not be worrying about when doors open, registration, do the restrooms need to be cleaned? Like you need to be in your genius zone right there and let someone else really worry about the logistics. So I do think that's a must when you're putting a workshop on. Um,
100%. Dejani, who's been on the podcast, who was my director of communications, and she would just help me with all those things you just list right there, and like lunch orders, etc. And she was also there. She knew social media, so if there was a social media question, she popped in and answered it. So it was like win-win for me. It was awesome.
yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, you really want to focus on your content and not on the logistics. There's a
Hmm.
lot of logistics. Anyone that's done an event knows there's so much stuff, not just what's happening from the main stage, stuff that's happening backstage, out in the lobby, leading up to the event. So yeah, I would say bring someone in to help you with your event.
Okay, I love it. And you brought this up earlier saying you don't necessarily have to charge. I do want people to charge. Like if we're going to go through, and like you said it, if you're going through the energy and the resources, I do want you to charge. I also more than likely want you to pitch something at the end, and you might disagree with me, and I openly invite you to disagree with me, but you're a master of sales too. That's one of the reasons I love you. You always have the next step, serving the person. It's not just about selling for you, but it's about making sure that they're taken care of with the next step. If we are going to pitch at the event, like what tips do you have for us for the workshop?
Yeah, absolutely. There's some key things you need when you're pitching from a stage or at a workshop. Whether that's an online workshop, whether it's in person, it's the same thing, right? It really is. But
Yeah.
one, you have to get really clear on what your offer is, and you need your offer to fit on a half sheet of a paper. Because think of
Oof.
it, when you're doing the pitch from the stage, you're going to hand out an order form, okay? And the
Hmm.
top half of that is the title of what you're getting, all of the things that come with this program, all of your bonuses, the event special, and then the bottom half is where they fill out their information, their credit card information, so you can charge them. So you have a half a sheet to get crystal clear. Well, I think that's important that it's only a half sheet too, is because too long of offers, you're going to lose the room, okay?
Hmm.
Now, in the offer, some key things that you need is you need to make a true event only special, okay?
Okay.
And have authenticity with this. Like if you're saying, hey, this program sells for $5,000, but at this event it's half price, it's only 2,500. Make sure that's authentic. If they went to your website, it better be listed for 5 grand, okay? Don't be one of those shady salespeople. Also, you need to get them to move fast before they leave your workshop, right? So we do
Right.
certain things that are called event bonuses and fast action bonuses. So you want to ultimately get people kind of running to the back because there's real scarcity. So you want to think of like some limited time offers, right? So when you sign up at this event, you're going to also get this bonus, and this bonus that's only offered to you, to those people here in the room. And I really like a fast action bonus item, one of them to be a physical something, something
Okay.
tangible that they're going to take home with them, but practical, and also something that's not too large, because you have to remember a lot of times people are traveling in for your workshops. So it's like, it's a disservice to give them a big giant thing that they have to figure out how to get home.
Give,
So
do you have any examples of that? Like that you liked that they gave a
yeah,
physical?
totally. I just produced an event in Las Vegas last spring, and it was called How to Grow with Video Live. So it's people coming in
Hmm.
to learn how to grow their business primarily with YouTube. So one of the fast action bonus items was like a little tiny microphone. So they need it to
Ah,
create content.
so smart. Like a
We only had
lav.
25. It was like a little lav that plugged into their phone, into
So
their laptop.
smart.
but it was so tiny. Like they literally traveled home with this thing. So that's something. Now, like at a Bow Easton event, ours is you get to come to a champagne toast. So it's
Mm.
right there and it's happening at the event. So we give them a little invitation card. Doesn't, cost $1 to print this out. And then, some other money to obviously have the champagne toast, but it's like, it's limited. It's happening here. So I think those fast action bonus items are really, really key too in your offer.
Ah, so good. Before I let you go, can we have a little fun and talk about mistakes? And I'll start.
Yeah.
You don't know this, but I booked a workshop. It was the rock and roll marathon in San Diego. And so I'm in Balboa Park, and where does that rock and roll marathon go? All over Balboa
No.
Park. I'm getting like goosebumps just thinking about it, how I like totally messed up participants trying to drive in.
Yeah.
Go.
Well, I have like a million of those things, right? Where I literally get every single event. You're going to have something that's going to trigger you for the rest of your life, right? Like that. That before, I had an event once at Balboa Park and it was during the big street festival. And it was like the parking was a mess. It was so packed. No one could find each other. I mean, okay. So how do you avoid them? One, yeah, it's important that you look at calendars and make sure, like, you're going to do an event in Vegas, find out what other big events are going on so that you're not competing with them. That's in all the major markets. Also, really know how to read a hotel contract or a venue contract. I have
That's a
so
great
many
one.
clients that have come to me that I've gotten burned by it because those contracts are meant to confuse you. You don't know what you're signing. Hold on, I've got one. I'm going to just show you. This is an
Yeah, show
example.
me.
This is an example of it's like a 15-page contract for
Hmm.
a property in Las Vegas I'm about to sign. It's Fontainebleau. Okay. Now,
Okay.
this is like all hotel contracts though. Okay. This is not just them. They're all going to be like 12 to 15 pages. And in this, it has stuff like how many guest rooms, what's your food and beverage,
Yep.
attrition, force majeure, like all this legal jargon. But what you don't understand, like a lot of people don't understand, what is a hotel block? Well, that's your
Right.
guarantee. This many people are going to stay at the hotel. If not, you have to pay for it. I've had people come to me that have had to pay thousands and thousands of dollars in unfilled rooms. They don't
Wow.
understand like food and beverage. Guess what?
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, yeah, in order to have this space, it's a $10,000 food and beverage minimum. You're like, okay, fine. I'm going to provide lunch and dinner and breakfast and all this. I can easily hit that. But there's plus at these hotels. They
Hmm.
automatically add like a 26% service charge. There's
Yep.
the tax. So for instance, like this contract here, I'm getting ready to sign a $12,500 food and beverage minimum with them. But with all the pluses, it adds another $4,000. Okay.
Wow.
Don't understand when they're putting this together, like all the little
All the
added.
little things.
So
And
that,
so I'm lucky because I grew up with Tony Robbins, like
yeah,
production people who were just as awesome as you. So Robin Eford is taught me all these things, and I would send my contracts to her. So because I did a retreat at a small hotel, and I like nailed down every little detail, like F&B and everything, because I didn't want to get nailed, because I know
yeah,
that because we went on tour with Tony, right?
yeah,
So, but
absolutely.
I get, not everybody has that kind of education, and you just have to be so smart and so on it,
Yes.
or ask for help.
Yeah, or ask for help. And again, it's like, it doesn't have to be me, but like, there's a lot
No.
of people that do what I do in this industry. It's like, it's worth it sometimes just to have someone help you find the venue and get through the contract process,
Yeah.
because they know how to negotiate the contracts in your favor. They know how to, change some of that kind of shady legal terms on a contract
Yes.
so you don't get burned. So
Or
yeah, I think that that's definitely one of the mistakes. And then I think some of the mistakes that other people make too is they're just, of course, we all have high hopes with what our numbers are going to be at an event. But I find a lot of times where people are like, oh yeah, I can easily get 100 people in the room.
yeah.
Okay, how big is your list? Are you going to spend money paying ads? Like
Mm,
getting 100 people in a room is
that's a
hard.
lot. Yeah.
Getting 10 people in a room can be hard if you don't
Yeah.
have a list, right?
Right.
And so it's like being really, really conservative with your numbers, like take that goal that where you're like, I have 100 people, chop it in half and chop it in half again. Build your budget around that, because I've seen so many people, they build their budget, they book this huge venue, and then they don't hit the numbers, and you're stuck. You've signed all these contracts and paid all these deposits. So
Yeah, no, that's good. But before you go though, Jessie, and I should have asked you this up front, why do you love in-person events though? Because like you love it, right? Why are they so great for our audience? Like why are you so passionate about them?
yeah, I'm really passionate about them for a couple things. I think COVID really changed the way people like to consume information. Now
Yeah.
people are very much into like, yes, I want to go out, I want to learn, I want to network, but make it an experience, right? So
Hmm.
it's sometimes hard to do all those touch points in a virtual event. In a
Sure.
live event, it's like the decor, the food, the beverage, the people, the music, the lighting, the sound, the
Ugh,
swag. You have so much fun with it, but they love to connect with each other. And also, I think it's a great opportunity to get content for you, way better than a
yes.
virtual event. So it's like, if you're going to put on a workshop, spend the extra money to put a camera in that room and to
Hmm.
record all that content so you can repurpose it. You can sell it as a product down the line. You can chop it up and use it for social media, or for bonuses. So I love events. I love live events. In fact, so much that when people contact me now to do virtual events, I'm saying, no. There's other people that really
Good for
specialize
you.
in those. I
Yeah.
don't enjoy them. I love live events for being able to do all the touch points that you can do.
Ah, so good, so good. Oh, thank you so much for coming on. You are literally leaving for Italy tomorrow for the next like 3 weeks. Where can listeners learn more about you? Definitely Instagram, but what else you got? Tell me.
Yeah, Instagram's a great place just to kind of keep up and like where I am in the world. But also just my website. If you go to jessieevents.com, JESSIE events.com, it has information on me. It has my email address there. So just feel free to reach out that way.
And then make sure you follow her because you will be putting out a course one of these days because we've talked about that forever and just putting out your expertise. But we'll talk about that on a different podcast.
I need to. This is where I need to hire the expert. Gina, I need you to come and help me. I certainly have enough content. I have enough.
You could do 3 different courses right now. Like I already have, yeah, we got to talk about this. There's the speaking course, there's the planning events course, there's multiple. So look to Jessie putting those out in the future. Thank you so much for coming on and squeezing us in.
Thanks, Gina. Appreciate you.